as of July 2024, there is a brand new VA Form 21-0781. Now, this form used to be your statement in support of a claim for service connection for post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what it used to be called. There also used to be a Part A, which is the VA Form 21-0781A, which was the supplement you were supposed to use for post-traumatic stress disorder claims related to personal assault. That form is now gone. The 0781A is gone, and the new VA Form 21-0781 is now called a statement in support of a claim for mental health conditions due to an in-service traumatic event. So let's talk about this brand new form, and I'm going to share some tips on how to complete it. If you need to provide a specific and detailed statement due to mental health issues because of something that happened to you in service, the VA calls it a traumatic event or a stressor event, and it's things like combat trauma, maybe personal trauma, or any other traumatic event. So I'm going to read a few of these to you so that they make sense. Engaging in combat with the enemy. If you're actually firing weapons, obviously that's combat. That could be a combat traumatic event. But it could also mean things like indirect fire. So if you were in Iraq and Afghanistan receiving rockets and mortars, that's also considered combat. Okay, now what's personal trauma? What does that mean? Sexual assault or harassment? Maybe there was some physical assault situation that occurred. That would be an example of that. But what about other traumatic events? Things like car accidents, natural disasters, witnessing death or injury that wasn't due to enemy or combat. Those all qualify as well. Now, what you need to be thinking about is your traumatic event, your stressor event. Did you fear for your life? That's the standard. Did you fear for your life? If yes, your stressor is good enough. If no, your stressor's probably not good enough. Here's some other tips. The VA will attempt to verify your traumatic event or your stressor event. And they do that with direct sources of information and indirect sources of information. An example of a direct source would be evidence of your DD-214, hazard pay records, your service treatment records, military performance reports, after action reports. Those things are considered direct evidence that are highly probative to resolve a stressor event. The VA calls it conceding the stressor. But there's also things like indirect sources. Well, guess what? If you were assaulted in the military, you probably didn't report it. So there might not be a whole lot of evidence of this. The VA knows that, but I think you at least need to write a personal statement explaining everything that happened. Okay, how do you complete the new VA Form 21-0781? What's different? The first part's the same. It's asking just for your basic information. The parts that are different are sections 2, 3, and 4. If you look below in the description of this YouTube video, you're going to see a link. I have a very, very comprehensive and detailed blog post that explains point by point, block by block, how you fill out the new VA Form 21-0781. I also have multiple examples of how you should fill this section out and what the VA is looking for. Just a quick pro tip here. You should know the approximate date of when your traumatic event occurred within a 60-day window. The more specific you can be, the better. Now, be thinking about, how did you change as a result of this traumatic event? Did your behavior change? Did your performance change? Did your ability to sleep change? Did your relationships change? You have to be able to describe and talk about those things. Now, what happened to the old forms? They're gone. You don't have to use them anymore. The old 0781 is gone. The old 0781A is gone. It's discontinued. There's only one form now. You can find it just by Googling what's the new VA form 21-0781. The last tip I'm going to share here, y'all, about this form is the VA says it's optional. Okay, it ain't optional. If you're filing a mental health claim due to some type of a traumatic event, you need to fill out this form and you need to upload it in support of your claim. Okay, you can also mail it in. You can also send it to your accredited representative to get it to the VA on your behalf. But don't leave it to chance. This is mission critical that if you have a mental health condition caused by, related to some type of trauma, you need to take control and explain to the VA exactly what happened, what caused your mental health condition, when it happened, who witnessed it, how you've changed over time, and then your current mental health symptoms. Fellow vets, again, if you look below into the description, you can find the exact blog post. I have multiple examples in there. There's one for combat. There's one for personal assault. I highly recommend you take a look at it because I want you to make sure you fill out this form and you do it correctly. If you need help, if you have any questions at all about VA disability claims, we exist for you. That's why I founded this company. I founded VA Claims Insider because I lost $100,000 of tax-free compensation and benefits, y'all, because I friggin' didn't know any different. I didn't even know you could be underrated. I didn't know you could file more than one claim. I thought that once you got a rating, that was it. There was no recourse. Nobody educated me on this topic. And I literally stopped. I put my entire life into this, and I've devoted it purely to serving fellow veterans because I don't want this to ever happen to any of you, ever. Now, if any of that resonated with you, you're going to see across the bottom of the screen, you can start right now at vaclaimsinsider.com. Again, check out the description below. Please drop me a comment. By the way, we try to answer as many of them as we can. Fellow vets, B. Reese out from Austin, Texas. I love you all, and we'll talk soon.